Today we'll be learning about adding and subtracting like fractions. This is section 5 in your book. You see the objective is to add and subtract fractions with like denominators. Those are denominators that are the same. Adding fractions. To add fractions with like denominators, you'll see here we have a denominator of c and a denominator of c, so we have the same denominator. So to add fractions with like denominators, like we have here, add the numerators and write the sum over the same denominator. So the numerator, that's the number on the top side of the fraction there. So we're going to add a plus b. We keep our denominator the same. It is c. So a plus b over c. So we don't know what that fraction is, but we do know it is a plus b over c. Let's take a look at this here. If we have 2/7 plus 6/7. This is going to be over denominator 7. And we're going to take 2 plus 6, and we're going to add that together, and we get 8. 8/7. Now, if you think about 8/7, this is the same thing as 7 over 7 plus 1/7, right? 7 over 7 is what? That's 1 and 1/7. So if you want to write that as a mixed number, you can, 1 and 1/7. So 8/7 is the same thing as 1 and 1/7. Here's kind of a visual representation of why we keep our denominator the same. If we've got 1/5 here, like a pie shape, plus 2/5 of the same pie shape, we now have 3/5 of that same pie shape. So we keep our denominators the same, and we add the numerators together. So let's solve a couple of equations here. Okay, first, 4 and 1/4 plus 2 and 1/4. All right, we're going to work this one all together. Don't pause the video yet. All right. First, let's just add the numerators here. 4 plus 2. I'm sorry, not the numerators. Add the whole numbers out in front. 4 plus 2, that is 6. And then 1/4 plus 1/4, that is 2/4. Look at this and see if we can simplify this anymore. 6 and 2/4, that is 6 and 1/2, right? We can divide 2 and 4. Both those can be divided by 2, leaving us with 6 and 1/2. So try these two on your own. Pause the video now. See if you can add these two fractions on the left and these two fractions on the right. Pause the video now. All right, on the left here, 3/4 plus 3/4, I get 6/4. Look at that and see if you can simplify that any further. If you can simplify that further, please pause the video now and do that. I'll do the same. All right, well, the 6 and the 4 both can divide by 2. 6 divided by 2, we get 3 in the numerator. Oh, 3 in the numerator, and 4 divided by 2, we get 2 in the denominator. Looking at 3/2, can we write that as a mixed number? This is currently an improper fraction. The numerator is larger than the denominator. Can we rewrite that as a mixed number? Pause the video now and do that if you've not done so. All right, you should have gotten 1 and 1/2, because 3/2, we can rewrite that as 2 over 2 plus 1/2. 2/2 plus 1/2. 2 over 2 is 1, so that's 1 and 1/2. Over here on the right side, 3 plus 4, we get 7. And then 1/5 plus 3/5, we get 4/5. Can we rewrite this in any way? No, we cannot. That is in simplest form. All right, pause the video again and try to find the sum of these two. Please write your answer in simplest form and write as a mixed number as well as an improper fraction. Okay, 3/5 plus 4/5. 3 plus 4 is 7, so we get 7/5. We can rewrite this as 5/5 plus 2/5. 5/5 is 1 and 2/5, so 1 and 2/5. Over here, x equals 16 plus 28, that is 44. 2/3 plus 2/3, 2 plus 2 is 4, so that's 4/3. Think about 4/3. Can we write that as a mixed number? Pause the video now if you didn't do so. Write 4/3 as a mixed number, and then see if you can rewrite 44 and 4/3. Pause the video now and do so if you didn't do so earlier. All right, 4/3, we can rewrite that as 1 1/3. So we end up with 44, and remember 4/3 was 1 1/3. 44 plus 1 is 45, so we have 45 1/3. Subtracting fractions. This is a little different. To subtract fractions with like denominators, subtract the numerators and write the difference over the same denominator. So that's the same. We keep our denominator, c, okay, and the numerators are subtracted, a minus b. Okay, so here's an example. We're going to work together. We have a denominator of 15, so I keep that denominator of 15. 7 minus 28. Think for a moment about what 7 minus 28 is. It's negative 21. So we get negative 21 fifteenths. Look at that fraction. Can we simplify that fraction at all? Well, 21 and 15, we can divide both those by 3. And I get a denominator of 15 divided by 3 is 5. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So we get 7/5. All right, can we write that as a mixed number? 1 and 2/5. There you go. Now, this one's a little different. Please pay attention to this. Don't pause the video quite yet. Notice that with the fraction portion here, 6/7 and 2/7, our numerator of 6 here is larger than the numerator of 2. So when this is the case, we just subtract everything just like normal. So 3 minus 1, and then the fractions as well, 6/7 minus, I apologize for that, y'all. Let me see here. I think it's Control Z, is that undo? Let me undo that. Oh. Let's try that again. So 3 minus 1, you'll see that here, 3 minus 1, 6/7 minus 2/7. So again, the 6 was larger than the 2. The number that is being subtracted is smaller than the number is being subtracted from. So that's 6/7 minus 2/7. 3 minus 1 is 2. Oh, excuse me. 3 minus 1 is 2. 6/7 minus 2/7 is 4/7. So we get 2 and 4/7. There you go. Now this one on the right here is a little different. Notice now we have 1/11 and 6/11. So now 6/11 is being subtracted from 1/11. What we're going to do is we're going to create a number where a fraction, where the numerator in the over here in 1/11. We're going to make this numerator larger than this numerator over here. Here's how we do it. We're going to take one of these numbers here. We're going to take 1 from the 4. 1 is the same thing as 11 over 11, right? So if I make this 3, and remember this is 11/11 because that's 1, plus the 1/11 that was already there. This is 3 and 12/11. So again, basically I borrowed one of these numbers here. Instead of 4, it now became a 3. And I took one of these numbers and I made it 11/11. And I added to that the 1/11 that was already there. So now we have 3 and 12/11 minus 2 and 6/11. And now it's just like the other problem. So it's 3 minus 2 plus 12/11 minus 6/11. 3 minus 2 is 1. 12 minus 6, that is 6/11. 1 and 6/11. That cannot be simplified. So there you go. So the number, when you are subtracting a numerator that is larger than the numerator it is being subtracted from, you do need to borrow one of these numbers here and create a numerator that is larger to be subtracted from. So try a few on your own here. Try those two. Pause the video now. Try those two on your own. All right, 6 sevenths minus 16 sevenths. 6 minus 16 is negative 10 over 7, so negative 10 sevenths. Now remember, this is negative, right? So I'm going to put this negative out front. 7 sevenths, and I'm left with 3 sevenths. This is 7 sevenths plus 3 sevenths. 7 sevenths is 1. 3 sevenths just remains 3 sevenths, and then the negative is out front there. So negative 1 and 3 sevenths when written as a mixed number. Down below here, 19 24ths minus 11 24ths. 19 minus 11 is 8 24ths. We can divide 8 and 24 by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 24 divided by 8 is 3. So we get 1/3 when written as a simplified fraction. Try those two on your own. Pause the. All right, so up here in the first problem, s equals 3 and 1/15 minus 1 and 4/15. 1/15, the fraction we are subtracting from, that 4/15. We need to create a numerator that is larger than the numerator that we are subtracting from it. So remember, 1 is the same thing as 15/15. So I can make this 15/15 plus 1/15, which is 2, because remember I had to take one of these away, and 16/15. So that ends up being 1. 16 minus 4 is 12/15. 1 and 12/15. I can divide both these by 3, and I end up with 1 and 4/5. 1 and 4/5. Down here below, this time 5 6. We're subtracting from that 1/6. The 5 in the numerator is larger than the 1 in the numerator, so 4 minus 2 is 2. 5 minus 1 is 4. And we have a denominator of 6. 4 and 6, I can divide both these by 2. I end up with 2 and 2/3. 2 and 2/3. All right. All right, extra effort. See if you can complete these. I'm not going to give you the answer, but see if you can complete these on your own.